Hello everyone, this is Shamnath Banerjee from Advanced Software Systems. Today we are going to talk about mobile security. Before jumping into mobile security, let me take a minute to talk about Advanced Software Systems, or ASSIST. We were established in 1993, have been in business for almost 19 years. We're a global provider of IT solutions and services with a very strong practice in the government space, both in federal, state, and local. Also, very large commercial accounts and very strong presence in the education and nonprofit space. This slide shows you a partial list of our customers. And without further ado, I'd like to go into today's talk, which is mobile security. Now, mobile phones, the last time I checked, there are approximately 3.3 billion mobile phones, which is almost half the size of the population of planet Earth. So mobile phones are a huge phenomenon. Within that, a particular area of interest is smartphones. The last time I checked, there were 130 million smartphones which were purchased each year. Well, let's take a minute to understand why smartphones are becoming so popular. The reason is you can do a lot with smartphones. You can access the internet using your Wi-Fi network, or even when you're on the road using a 3G network. If you have a GPS-enabled device, then a precise location can be pinpointed within a 10-feet accuracy. You can access your email or access the web. You can manage personal information like photos and contacts. You can even do financial transactions, whether it's checking your bank account, doing a transfer, or doing a financial stock trade. Those are absolutely possible right now from a smartphone. And recently, you can do any kind of business transactions, things like a manager on the road can approve a purchase order, a salesperson can fill out his time and expense sheets. So corporations more and more are looking how to expand and extend their business processes using smartphones. However, there are several roadblocks. The number one roadblock is security. Smartphone devices perform similar functions as laptops, and they have comparable and in many cases extendable computing power. But smartphone devices have very little and no endpoint security. This provides a very serious threat landscape which corporations and organizations have to be aware of before they build business processes around smartphones of their employees and contractors. What are the mobile threat vectors? Well, the threat vectors can come in various shapes and forms. It could be a malware which gets installed in one of the smartphones of your corporation, and it could be a rogue application carrying on nefarious activities which you never intended to do. The threat can come from the loss or theft of a device. Cell phones are easy to use and easy to lose. Almost 20% of cell phones gets misplaced. That's a huge number. Now, when you lose a phone, you not only lose the device, but you also lose the critical information and in some cases very critical business sensitive information. For example, the list of your customers. Smartphones are also known for being vulnerable to data communication and interceptions. Whether it's a voice or text or email or any kind of data communications can be spied upon and intercepted, and very sensitive information can be compromised using these techniques. And the last one is using the vulnerabilities of operating system or the mobile browsers. Direct attacks could be launched on your phone to make the phone completely bricked or gaining control over your phone to carry on other activities. Now, each one of these threats can be not only be very embarrassing for you, however, it can also prove to be very expensive for you. And before you plunge into into how to embrace smartphones as part of your business process, these threat vectors have to be very carefully understood. And based on that, you need to put together safeguards on how to develop mobile phone apps so that they are secure, how to test mobile apps in order to make sure that they are secure, and how to deploy so that it doesn't fall in the wrong hands or your deployment procedure is not compromised, how to operate mobile apps properly, even after they go into production. So each one of these techniques will be covered in our upcoming slidecast. We'll go into the details of threats. We're going to compare major mobile platforms like iOS versus Android and see how they stand out in the security area. And we're also going to provide some of the best practices to make your mobile operations secure. So I'd like to thank you for attending this session, and we'd look forward to your presence in the subsequent sessions. If you have any questions, feel free to reach us at mobile@assist.net or visit our webpage at assist.net/.